prefer your vacations with a couple hundred friends, spending the night in a dark and derelict hotel, well then you have come to the right place, because I am the ghost tourist and this is Alton, Illinois. In this video, we'll explore the tumultuous history of the Mineral Springs Hotel, a once popular spa known for its healing sulfuric waters. We'll discuss the chilling, true tales behind its various ghostly legends, and finally, we'll descend into the depths of its abandoned pools in total darkness in search of the spirits that linger.
Where in the world are you hiding, my dear, my dear? I caught a glimpse of something very weird. A ghost I fear is near me, dear. A ghost has slipped into my world, my world.
Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We're here for the 27th annual Haunted America Conference, hosted by local author and historian Troy Taylor.
If you get a chance, you're out in the St. Louis area, take a quick trip across the river to Alton. It is a great little historic town. We have a lot of hauntings here. We do tours all year round. The museum is open all year round. The conference where we're at this weekend, we do that every year. It's the third weekend in June. We think of it as kind of like a fun paranormal summer camp.
The conference is a weekend event filled with guest speakers, a very eclectic and fun vendor hall, and a number of after-hours activities, including workshops and ghost hunts. This is the third episode in my series on Alton, so check out the channel if you want to learn more about the town and its numerous hauntings. And you can say that I saved the best for last, because this is quite possibly the most haunted building in the most haunted small town in America. The Mineral Springs Hotel was founded in 1914. Initially, the building was meant to be an ice warehouse for the Lohr brothers' butcher business, until a natural spring was discovered beneath the building. The water had a high sulfur content, and mineral baths were all the rage at the time, so the brothers went into the spa business instead. Whoa, that's really cool. Back at the time, people believed that the sulfuric spring water had medicinal properties. So not only would they bathe in it, they would drink it. And they sold it in bottles, shipped it all around the country as a curative, claiming that it could help with things like arthritis, headaches, even cure baldness. The underground pools drew in huge crowds. For a few decades, it was actually the largest swimming pool in the entire state. Back in its glory days, there were 100 rooms, and the interior had an ornate grand staircase cut from marble. There was a ballroom, saloon, barbershop, cigar store, and a live orchestra performed on weekends. The hotel thrived through the 1920s, but then the Depression hit, followed by World War II, and business fell into decline. The hotel changed hands numerous times until its final closure in 1971.
Since that time, it's been kind of, I wouldn't call it a shopping mall, but it's had different stores and things in it over time. So people are there every day on a regular basis. And there have been a lot of ghostly experiences. Even people just shopping have encountered what they call the Jasmine Lady in the hotel. She is a woman who died in the building in 1965. She overdosed, and people smell her perfume. And these are people who know nothing about the history of the building or even that it's haunted, but then will come to some of the shop owners there and say, hey, you know, there's a real strong smell out here, something really flowery. And turns out it's the Jasmine Lady. So she shows up on a regular basis.
In modern day, the Mineral Springs is home to Troy Taylor's American Oddities Museum.
So it is a large museum of weird antiques and funeral stuff and sideshow history stuff and Ouija boards, and it's a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah. it.
Some theorize that a museum full of haunted objects, serial killer memorabilia, and real human remains has added an additional layer of charged energy to a building that was already very paranormally active.
The first apparition I ever saw was at Mineral Springs. And it's a little boy that's in the lobby. And he wears knickers and stuff, and he plays in the lobby there. We put a music box in the hallway there, and he likes to run back and forth and play with the music box. But it has changed since he's brought the museum in their building. They have not an autopsy, but they have like I guess it would be like an autopsy table.
We were at the Oddities Museum yesterday.
It still has the hair in the pipe and stuff. Yeah. That's creepy. I'm like, no telling what's attached to that. So when they brought all those objects in, the whole dynamics has changed in the building.
Beyond this first level, the rest of the building has essentially been given over to paranormal enthusiasts. However, the building has come under new ownership. This sadly means entry to ghost hunters has been revoked. So we were among one of the last groups to have full access to the Mineral Springs Hotel. Currently in the lobby of the Best Western Premier in Alton. This is like the hotel for the conference. Just waiting for Sean to come down. We had a little nap, and now we're going to go do a ghost hunt from 10 to 2 a.m. at the Mineral Springs Hotel. Really excited about this one. We get to go down to the sub-basement where the old natural spring was. And I've read so much about this place and talked to a lot of people at the conference about their experiences here. So I'm really curious to see if I encounter anything. Ghost stories abound at the Mineral Springs Hotel. So let's get inside and see what we find. Wish us luck. Our ghost hunt is being led tonight by Luke Naliborski, a longtime guide for American hauntings.
By the late 1960s, the building was turning into more of a seedy kind of place. Back in those days, you used to be able to rent the room by the hour. You guys can do the math. By the early 1970s, the place was deteriorating very badly, and they had to shut this place down. And it was really close to being torn down. Whenever it was shut down, there was a lot of transients who were breaking into the building. They were going down into the depths of the building, doing bad things to human beings, fighting, doing drugs, alcohol, that stuff. That went on for about 5 years, and then eventually it reopened as the Mineral Springs Antique Hall. And that's kind of where the revitalization of this building started.
Luke is going to lead us on a walkthrough explaining the various areas and stories. Then we'll be released to hunt on our own. A lot of the paranormal accounts began in the late 70s when the hotel reopened as a shopping center. As with most folk legends, there are numerous iterations and apocryphal tales, but I'm going to stick with the versions that Luke told us. You can also find these stories in Troy Taylor's book, Haunted Alton. There's a phantom barfly who's said to haunt the old saloon, generally making a nuisance of himself by slamming doors, turning off lights, and pacing the floor. Though his identity is uncertain, many believe it's the spirit of Lou Harwood. In life, he was a traveling salesman, but on November 15th, 1916, he walked into the bar, seated himself in the first booth, and spread some papers across the table. Then he picked up his gun and shot himself point blank in the chest. Scattered among the papers was a note with instructions on how to contact his family. Lou claimed he had been sick for the better part of 5 years, and, I quote, "If there are any other reasons for the act, it's no one's business." I'd like to speak with Lou Harwood. Lou, are you here at the Mineral Springs Hotel tonight? If you want to let us know, you can make the needle move. Unfortunately, we don't have access to the bar, but hunters have encountered Lou in both the lobby and the crystal room on the first floor. why I keep thinking oh, there's a shadow in that room, but it's just people sitting in there quietly. Lou Harwood, are you here with us in this room? Could you make the needle move? It is moving a little bit. Another of the most well-known spirits is that of the Jasmine Lady. She's been known to brush past guests upon the main stairs, and her presence is often accompanied by, you guessed it, the strong smell of jasmine perfume.
The story of the stairs is that there was a couple staying in a hotel. The husband was a salesman. He was out in the city selling his wares. He came back a little bit early and caught his wife with a new friend that she had made. So an argument ensued, made its way out of the room to the top of these stairs. Now we have a couple versions of the story. In one version, she accidentally slipped. The other version, she was pushed. Either way, this is a marble staircase, so there's no give on it. She broke her neck halfway down, fell into a heap at the bottom of the stairs. Either way, it doesn't matter, because the story never happened. There's no history whatsoever to back that up. The reason that story was created is because the stairs are haunted. Now, a lot of people will actually smell jasmine perfume on the stairs. And trust me, when the jasmine perfume is there with the smells coming out of this door, the men's room, it hits you like a rock. I mean, it's such a drastic change from what you're going to be smelling right here when the flower smell comes.
So, there's no substantiating evidence to prove a woman ever died on the staircase. However, it is possible the Jasmine Lady may be a woman named Pearl who was a frequent guest at the hotel in the 1960s. Pearl's story is a sad one. In the span of a year, she visited the hospital 15 times, a victim of domestic violence. She would stay at the hotel under a false name to hide from her abusive husband. In 1965, she intentionally overdosed on a bottle of prescription pills. For years, her spirit was associated with the room where she died up on the second floor, which, due to a leaking roof, is now off limits. But in recent years, Pearl's nephew visited the Mineral Springs, and, unaware of the ghost stories, this is what he shared.
So whenever they're up in Pearl's room, he was getting very emotional. Again, he had never been to the hotel, he'd never been to the room where she took her life. So he's getting emotional about it, and then at one point he kind of started laughing. And Troy said, "What's so funny?" And he said, "Well, I was just thinking about Aunt Pearl." "Well, what about?" "Well, whenever I would go visit Aunt Pearl, when I would come home, my parents would have to scrub me and bathe me like crazy." "Why is that?" "Because Aunt Pearl used to wear jasmine perfume so strong it gave my mom a migraine." So he said, whenever I come home, they would scrub me to get the smell off of me so my mom wouldn't get her headaches. So here, all these years, again, this is one of the most active locations here in this building with the smell of jasmine perfume, and you have this story created to explain the woman when the whole time it's one of the most prominent spirits in the building.
So we're gonna walk up the Jasmine Lady stairs here, and we'll just sit at the top for a little bit and maybe put the EVP recorder out, check the compass, see if we get anything, and then go into the dark after that. There have been various reports of a negative entity within the hotel. Investigators, often using the Estes method, have picked up on a couple arguing. Many link this male presence to Pearl, theorizing her marital woes continued beyond the grave, and that tragically, her husband George has also found his way to the Mineral Springs. About 20 degrees hotter once you go up one floor, so sorry, I'm very sweaty. It's pretty hot and stuffy. We're here on the summer solstice, so it's about 97 degrees outside, and even hotter up here on the second floor, so. Just kind of seeing if I get any jasmine. Pearl, if you're here with us, we make your presence known. Is there something you'd like to tell us? I sat there for a few minutes without anything significant happening, and then I was so hot, I felt like I was going to pass out up there. So I moved on to the next location. Hey, are you enjoying the video? Then hit that subscribe button. And also consider joining the Ghost Club on Patreon for extended stories and exclusive bonus content. 100% of your contributions go toward making this channel possible. And we just got these awesome mugs in stock. Check that out. And seriously, this entire channel is run out of pocket, so anything you're willing to contribute, either on Patreon or a one-time contribution on YouTube, it just goes right back into the channel so that we can keep creating more content. And we greatly appreciate your support, so thanks for watching. There are a few reasons that people theorize that this building's so haunted. The first is the underground water. Many believe since water is a great conductor of electricity, perhaps it enhances paranormal energy and can act as a medium or a conduit for manifestation. So, we've got the natural spring running beneath the property and the Mississippi River just down the road. Also, many buildings in Alton, including the Mineral Springs Hotel, were constructed with locally quarried limestone. Limestone contains a large amount of quartz, and the stone tape theory suggests that certain rocks can absorb then re-release emotional or traumatic energy from past events, thus leading to paranormal activity. The final reason is more troubling. As I mentioned, a lot of people have had access to the abandoned parts of this building over the decades. Ghost hunters have long taken an interest, but some have dabbled with the occult, potentially opening a very dangerous door. Some claim that seances conducted in the sub-basement back in the 1980s may have drawn wandering entities or even summoned a malevolent or non-human spirit. Former building manager Dave Nunnally explains many people have had visceral moments at the hotel over its lifespan. People who sought to experience the healing waters as a last resort, and that energy leaves a mark. So I'm just walking around in the pitch black dark right now. I just finished a little session in the crystal room. I tried to do some EVP recording and had the compass out. There was a little activity on the compass, but I think EVPs are just going to be hard in this hotel because there's so many people here with us tonight. So now I've just collected my things and I'm headed over towards the main staircase, which will take us down to the pools. There's actually two pools. There's the large main one, and then there's a smaller men's pool. So we're gonna see what we find down in the basement. And then after the pools, you can go even further down to the sub-basement, and that's where you can find the old bottling factory. And that is where some of the absolute scariest stories come from. So we're kind of working our way down into the dark pit of hell, essentially. Here we go. Time to descend. There's certainly a heavier vibe down here in the basement, but look at it. It's just visually a very spooky place. I mean, it's an abandoned, vandalized basement pool well over a century old, so the creep factor is high, and it's only going to get higher the lower we go. Back in its heyday, thousands of people visited the Mineral Springs pool every year. They'd bathe in the healing waters, play water polo, even take swimming lessons. But unfortunately, for 21-year-old Clarence Blair, the lessons didn't help. On August 14th, 1918, he was found drowned at the bottom of the pool. The coroner reported a large bruise over his left eye, indicating that he must have dove into the water and struck his head on the bottom, losing consciousness. Without a struggle, Clarence's lungs filled with water, anchoring him to the bottom. It had been so busy that day that his body wasn't discovered for hours. It's important to note the pool was filled with sulfuric mineral water at the time, so the water would have been very cloudy and hard to see the bottom. In modern day, this dark, abandoned pool has many strange stories and has whispered many names over the years to those who have come to listen. There have been reports of a young girl named Cassandra, or Cassie, though her death at the hotel is unsubstantiated. They say she likes to throw marbles at people. There's marbles.
Unfortunately, there used to be tours that would come through here that would have those white marbles appear all the time during their tours. You know, I mentioned the little girl. Whenever she's around, she makes them appear. And unfortunately, the big reason that it was happening so frequently when that group was in here is because there's a big bucket of them over here. So this little bucket here was full of the white marbles. And what they would do is they would have somebody over here when they were in the pool and they would start chucking marbles through the windows. So what sucks about that is you have this activity that does happen, and then you have somebody fake it. So then every time it happens, you have to question it. You know, was somebody faking it? That's the bad part about even like the photography, the videos that we all try to do. Anybody at home with their computers can edit stuff. So it's getting harder and harder to prove this stuff to be legit. So, you know, it sucks everybody can do it. I mean, it's cool that people can do it, but it's just hurting the field.
After the pool was drained in 1971, staff members sometimes still heard the sounds of splashing. One even reported that when he went to investigate, he found a line of wet footprints leading from the bone-dry pool across the concrete. Witness experiences run the gamut from unexplained sounds to a 7-foot-tall shadow figure. Some have even seen full-bodied apparitions. The most frequently reported is a male in tan pants and a white shirt. I'd like to take a moment to state that I'm much more a curiosity seeker than a ghost hunter. So I really endeavor to show you what it's actually like visiting these places, and I'm not here to manufacture fear. But I am definitely learning a lot tonight from this group of 40 or so ghost hunters with their very wide variety of ghost hunting techniques. So maybe I'll broaden my toolkit in the future. So we're walking away from the main pool into the back maintenance area. Supposedly, this space is haunted by a spirit named William, and he doesn't really like women. He pushes them and grabs them and stuff. So we'll see if we get any kind of response to me being back there. You're just gonna be really careful walking. We're in the pitch black dark. With nothing but this red camera light, and it's just real gnarly down here, broken stuff everywhere, really jagged edges. I definitely already am minorly bleeding, so really gotta be super, super careful walking around in the dark down here. Okay, I think this is the spot where they said we're supposed to sit. So we're gonna set up the bell and the compass, and then after that maybe do a little session in the dark. All right, so we're down here in this sort of maintenance room, I guess, that's off to the side of the main pool, where they said a man named William has been spotted. So we've got the compass down here. It looks like we're getting a little bit of movement. William, are you here with us? You can. Whoa. Okay, that seemed like a yes. We're just here to say hello. We're super curious. Maybe you're curious too. So, let's turn the lights off. Do you hear like really faint music playing somewhere? I got really excited because I heard this old-timey jazz music playing in the distance, but we went and checked with Luke, and he said that a group of ghost hunters up in the crystal room were playing music, so that one's debunked. So we're now headed to the second pool, which was the gentleman's pool, and it's a little smaller. It's in a different part of the building, and this place is probably like the sketchiest part of the building we've been in so far. There's just rooms filled with trash. This is just a pile of old DVDs. I don't even know how something like this would end up down here 3 levels below the ground. And then the access to the pool is these pretty terrifying wobbly plywood boards that you just have to take your time getting down. And just a reminder, we're doing this in the pitch black dark.
Yeah, I nearly, it was not great. Yes, yeah, hey. Yeah, I thought I lost like 5 years off my life just doing that. It was so scary.
And here comes my DP Sean down the boards. Clearly it's very dark and hard to see, but the pool is also filled with trash, and the ceiling looks like it's rotting and water damaged, and it smells really funky down here. Here's a photograph taken by another ghost hunter with the lights on, so you can get a better sense of what this room looks like. And remember, it's also summer, and it's 97 degrees outside. And this place is not air conditioned.
Alright, guys, we brought some friends with us.
Hello. I've never used one before, actually, so tell me if you get something.
So it's the same idea as the SD7.
Yeah.
It's scanning quickly through the different radio stations. And the idea is that it'll use the white noise to put words or sentences together over, usually you're looking for multiple syllables because that's running over multiple stations. So we've got a couple different devices depending on what you are comfortable using to talk to us. If you'd like to talk to us, the round device is a compass, so that you can use the needle by making it point other than north. The object in the middle, if you get close to it, it'll light up. You can step closer or away for yes, no. You can light the different colors to indicate. And then there is a radio style device closest to me. You can use that white noise to talk to us if you'd like to try that.
Is this a grown man that's down here with us? Could you? That's a yes.
That sounds like yes.
Okay, thank you for answering.
That sounded like you're welcome.
Okay,
Kind of
that's what I
far
couldn't
away.
tell, yeah.
Kind of far away.
Okay.
Can you tell us your name? We've got a little compass action. But it's been really hard to keep my eye on the needle in this dark basement.
Wow, a bottle, yeah.
Did you drink the bottled water here?
We'll probably go down to the bottling plant next.
Yeah. Did you work here?
Did I say no? On our way out of the pool, I noticed some writing in the dust. It just says hi.
Oh, on the child
On the
slide?
slide, yeah.
You know, I don't know.
We're headed to the sub-basement to the old bottling factory, which will be our final location of the night. This is the spot where the original ground well was found. Back in the day, there would have been a 16-foot copper cistern, which is now basically a massive backfilled hole, and the ceiling is lined with these terrifying-looking old conveyor belt guides. Many claim the sub-basement is the most haunted and contains a very dark, negative energy. And I have to say, I agree. I don't like it down here. Here's a photograph with the flash on, and you can really see how the walls are deteriorating and crumbling around us. We turned off our camera lights so we wouldn't disturb the other groups, and in about 3 minutes, I've seen the cat balls near the well going off non-stop, and I've heard the group in the corner receiving messages on their Ovilus ghost box, including "Trapped, don't want you here," and "Get out." I think I'll take that suggestion. The Alton Mineral Springs bottled water was sold around the country as a miracle cure, and I can only imagine how many sick and desperate people chose to drink it, or, sadder still, chose to visit the mineral springs, praying for a miracle and finding nothing but disappointment. These limestone walls have borne witness to great tragedy, and echoes remain. Unfortunately, the building was closed to paranormal investigation in October 2024. It's the end of an era, and who knows what the future will bring. Do you have stories to share about the Mineral Springs Hotel? Please do so in the comments below. Thanks again to Troy Taylor and the whole team at the Haunted America Conference for hosting a great paranormal summer camp. Thanks for watching. I'm the Ghost Tourist. I'll see you next time.
A ghost is near, I fear, my dear. A ghost has slipped into my world.